What is going on, everyone? It is time for another video, and this one is extra exciting for me because I have something special hidden behind my fat head right now and a few other little treats over here that I'm about to show you, so let's get into it. Alright, it has been now 2 weeks. 2 weeks since we took this car out for the first time, and what can I say? Super stoked with how they went. It was a really fun time. Drove the car back on the trailer at the end of the day. There was no significant issues. A few things we need to work out or fix up. One thing I thought we'd have issues with, I think I've figured out, but I want to change it, and I'll go through that later on. But yeah, we just have to do some general maintenance on it before we take it out next time. And we'll talk about that a bit later on when that may be. But you can see it's she's still all good. There's this thing down here where the front bar came a bit loose, the bolt came out, so we do need to, this part here, need to fix that up. But other than that, she should be ready to rock. So we'll I'll show you the stuff that we got and get started on today's video. So one thing I always knew when getting into this series is that accidents happen, things occur, stuff breaks, things like that. So after my first track day, I kind of, before I took it out for a race meeting, I want to get a few spares in place. Not so much panels and things like that for the car, but actual physical spares that I could have sitting there just in case something happened. And a good friend of the channel, Ross McLaren, I went and picked up, I actually had a fuel strainer in the car that was an aftermarket. It sits at 90 degrees. Now this car, when you replace the fuel pump, you kind of have to use the OEM fuel strainer. It sits at 45 degrees. It sits at the bottom of the tank and picks up the fuel much easier, and you don't get fuel surge. He had one lying around, so I drove 45 minutes north to where he lives and picked up a fuel strainer. And when he was there, he also gave us a set of front knuckles that we can then build up and have some spares. So he was kind enough to give me the bucket as well. So this one here, the rotor does spin. Obviously we'll be replacing that and the bearings and stuff like that, but we can actually build that up and have a whole second set of front hubs and knuckles ready to go straight on if something was to ever happen. And that one in the bucket is actually seized. We can fix that up. He also did give me, for a bargain price, I had to go to the beer bank for this one and withdraw some currency, and we got from a whole set or another set of rears. So we've got control arms, everything needed to, in case we bend anything on the rears, we can then put that on. We've got all the springs, brake shoes, hubs, drums. Obviously we'll be getting rid of the struts because we don't need those. Still comes with the cables for the handbrake. So we've got both sides sitting there that we can pull those apart and have some spares that we can take to the track, and hopefully we don't need them, but if we do, we've got them. So that's another thing that Ross gave us, and the other thing is on the other side of the car, and I'm super stoked to show you, so I'll show you that now. Alright, so the thing just in front of me here is something I've actually wanted for this car for a long time, and it's not necessary, but it could get us out of a jam if anything happened. So this engine on this car has 55,000 Ks on it. Obviously when you buy it, you don't know what's been done to the car previously. I know this car previously was used as a paddock basher, but the condition of the engine, I had no idea. It performed pretty well last week or 2 weekends ago when I took it out. I was getting a tiny bit of blow-by out of it, which means the rings are probably on the way out, but still performed really well considering I was probably could have pushed a little bit harder. But if anything had happened to this engine, I don't want to be halfway through a race meeting and say, hey, stuffed, have to go home. So we have another engine sitting here. So this one is awesome. I got this on a great deal from Ross. Again, he set me up with this one. Not only do we have the engine, but on the other side we have the gearbox, which is another beneficial thing. So we've got the engine, we've got the gearbox, full set of injectors, we've got the intake, we've got the exhaust manifold. Pretty much the whole setup ready to drop straight into a car if we need. What I do intend to do is pull the gearbox off this one today, have it aside so if we do need a gearbox we can just pluck it out of the car, put that one back in, or the other one back in, and we're good to go. So we'll break this down, we'll pull the gearbox off, we'll give it a really good clean and see what we've got. It means we can also put another clutch on there that I have sitting over there, a heavy duty clutch, an extra heavy duty clutch on this car. And Ross did say when he pulled it out of the car that he's building up for Sam to race his next car, it runs, it's perfectly fine, he drove it, all was good. People worrying about the spark plug holes, they do have plugs in there to keep the dirt and dust out. So we'll be pulling the gearbox off now and getting this on an engine stand, give the gearbox a clean and get it set up if we need it. Alright, engine's there, gearbox is off, and as you can see, it's quite filthy, so we'll give that a good clean today. Clutch doesn't look too bad. Once we take the actual clutch off, we'll be able to see the clutch disc and see what state it is in and what state the flywheel is in, but inside, obviously pretty dirty. We'll give that a good clean and getting it look schmicko again, but at least now we've got a spare clutch, so we'll give it a good clean and put it to the side, and then we can mount the engine on the engine stand. Alright, so to clean this gearbox, I've just gone and got some CT14, was it biodegradable degreaser, engine degreaser. It's meant to be the duck's nut for something like this because they use it on bilge pumps, boat bilges. So we'll see what happens. All we can do is give it a go. If not, we'll just have to start scrubbing because it's pretty dirty. So get it off, there we go. Ooh. Potent. We'll go all scientific and say that's about right. We'll mix it with some water. The old 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, that's about right. Filthy.
Is that a new brush? It's just got the tag on it.
$4 special.
Yeah, I'm a QB, but I ain't handing on nothing for someone to monetize. And it goes to the birds too. Can't give it a time of $1, so cut her eyes. They get X'd out, but they had the potential to be my ex. I know how to play, I'm a seasoned vet. Yeah, always showing up. Known to hit a hole in one. Look at the crown and shoulder shrug. Shots are limited, I'm scam angle with the golden gun. Posted up, ready for whoever, boy, you know what's up.
While that gearbox is starting to dry, I'm going to rip this clutch off, check out the clutch plate, see what the flywheel's like, see what condition it's in, see if there's any hot spots on it. And if we have to get it machined, we will. Generally, they're not too bad. We'll pull this clutch off so we can get it on an engine stand and get it up off the floor. doesn't look too bad. Clutch has still got heaps of meat on it, or the disc. Love to know what disc it is. Some generic brand. Clutch plate. Oh, the clutch got a few little hot spots on it, but the flywheel is pretty good. That's not too bad. A few little ones there that match up with the clutch. Well, there's actually no lip or groove on it. It's nice and smooth. That's awesome. Can't feel a single thing. So whoever was driving this must have been very kind on the clutch. Awesome. Alright, time to get this thing up on an engine stand. So we have our engine on the crane. We're about to stick it on the actual engine stand. One thing to remember with these, if you haven't done this before, M12 by 1.25 bolts at the top, M10 by 1.25 bolts at the bottom. I don't have M10, but I will come up with a solution for that. I've got the M12 by 1.25 at the tops, just in there and there, but I don't have the 10s for down there. So what I'm thinking is, there's a shop here in Brisbane I go to. I'll be able to get them off the shelf, but for now I might just run down to Bunnings and get some high tensile M8s that'll fit through the thread, and I'll bolt it up really tight until I can get back to the bolt shop and get the correct ones, and then it should be fine. Because I've got the 12s already in there, taking most of the weight. Let's get it on the stand. She's now on the engine stand, which is awesome. Now I can push it over, keep it out of the way, and we'll just race down and get some bolts for the bottom, and then we can replace those with the actual ones when we get them. But much easier to work on now if it's on an engine stand and out of the way, and if we need to put it straight in the car, we can just hook it up, drop it in, and away we go. So now it's just a matter of unhooking it all, if we can. There we go. Get the chain off and put it in its new home until we either have to work on it or put it in the race car. Well, got the temporary bolts in the engine stand just there. It's now on the engine stand. This is where it'll live for a while. If we want to do some work to it, we can. But at this point, it'll just be a spare. My thinking is that if the engine in this car gets a bit tired, which it probably already is, given how many Ks are on it, we can swap this one in, and then we can use that and refreshen the one that's in the car now, and then just swap them out. If by some chance I blow this engine up, I can just drop this one straight in, and it should be good to go, but we'll wait and see. But at the moment, it could be a bit of a project. Issue is if we're halfway through a project and something happens to this engine that's in the car, I won't have an engine until this one's finished. So that's why my thinking is, if once this one gets tired, we can put that one in and then get that rolling. Doesn't mean we can start collecting parts for it and get it all done. I don't know if I want to get either of them, one of them built by a professional builder. I might even take it in to someone and say, hey, can I build it up? Do a video with you. Wait and see. But we've got another engine and another gearbox and some extra parts, which is fantastic. So where to from here? All right, where do we go to from here with this car? We've had it on track once. Really enjoyable time. But now it's time to get this thing into a race and figure out what we're going to do. So I have two options. There's the Motorsport Australia series, and then there is the AASA Track Attack series. I'm going to start with the Motorsport Australia series. because there's 2 different tracks I can race at. If I want to, in the coming months, I can go and get my AASA license and do the track attack, but we're going to start with Motorsport Australia. First round that I could be eligible to do is in June, next month. I'll be doing that. I won't be doing that one for a couple of different reasons. One, I just want to make sure this car is good to go and right, which it is. In the coming days, I'll jack it up, check out underneath, drain the oil out, put some new oil in before we take it out for the next round. And I just really want to make sure that it's good to go and we've got no issues. Knowing that I took the car out to on track last time and there was no real issues was a big positive thing for me. I was proud of that. So I don't want to stop that and have any issues. So we'll work on that. There's a few other things at play that I just want to make sure are right. We'll aim for the one in August. That is at Queensland Raceway. I've done laps there like I did 2 weeks ago, which is awesome. So we'll get that one done. And then the goal is to try and do a practice session out at Morgan Park, the other track where they race at, out at in Warwick, just to get some seat time for myself on that track before I go and throw myself into a race. So just trying to get a bit of seat time before, if we can get out for another general practice session, we will. But at this point, August, it means we can get tyres, everything we need sorted, ready to go, and we're not shortchanging ourselves, just trying to get by, ready for that, so we'll actually have a good round. So what needs to be done to this car before we go out? Well, 1, I need to give it a clean, it's absolutely filthy. 2, need to fix up that front guard, which shouldn't be an issue. Going to put it on jack stands, drain the oil, put new oil in it, which I've got something really special for that, which I'm actually pretty excited about. Give the wheels a clean, they are filthy from brake dust, change the brake pads. I'm still yet to choose which brake pads to go with. I did use the W4s, the Winmax W4s. Obviously being my first time out on track, I have no experience. So I'd like to try some different ones. I know the 6.5s are really bitey. And they chew through your rotors. So the Intima brakes have just released a new brake pad for track use with the XL series, so I'd like to try and give those a go, and they're about $100 cheaper than the Winmax, so, and they're meant to be about the same performance, so I might even try those and see how they go. All this cabling running through there, all the power cabling, I'm going to change that out. So there'll be one main cable running from the car to the mains power, and then I'm going to run a distribution block, all these this thing here, and instead of having all the cables going back to the battery, I'll have one cable coming from the battery to somewhere probably up the front, and then all these other cables then can run from that, and that'll do 2 things for us, which will be beneficial. So what that will do for us is, well, for me especially, is I'm running less cable in the cabin. That's less weight, which will be awesome. Secondly, it just tidies things up a bit, and look, I'm happy with the way it is, but I don't want to be satisfied, so I'm going to actually change it up and fix all that up. So it's not a big job. I just have to just put some new terminals and some new eyelets on the cables, shorten up, neaten it up, and we'll be good to go. The other thing we have to do is give this thing a massive clean, because after years and years of being used out in the paddock, there is rocks and dust and dirt coming out from all the crevices. Down by the battery there's rocks and stuff and dirt. So we'll give it a good clean out, and then we're going to get this thing log booked for Motorsport Australia, get that done, and we'll be good to go and take it out on track. But other than that, might give it a bit of a wheel alignment, but it is going to be good to go. So she's a bit filthy, a bit dirty, but apart from a few minor things, it's set to jet. One thing we do need to do before I take this out for a first race meet is change that number there, because other people use number 12, and I said before I moved down here, if anyone uses number 12, I'm happy to change. So I'll be changing that. I haven't decided a number yet, but I want a number that I could potentially use across both series so I don't have to keep changing numbers. I'll keep the number 12 on the roof, that's fine, but number on the side and then on the window will change. So I've got that one, the front, and then we'll put numbers on the sides as well, down there. And on the back, I'll get Josh Dremel from Josh Dremel Design. He's going to be able to knock some numbers up for me and put those on the windscreen and on the side. Well, we can do that. And we'll be set to go. And then it's just a matter of loading it up and getting it out to either test, race, or have some fun. But I need to get it done because in about, I don't know, 6-7 weeks, I might actually have to take this car into the school that I work at for a motorsport club that I'll be running. So speaking of the school that I work at, a bunch of the students have figured out that I have YouTube and found my channel. Shout out to them, especially one specific student that has been bugging me to give him a shout out. I won't mention your name, you know who you are. You can get off my case now. But thank you all guys for supporting it and watching it. You know, we joke around at school, everyone says, you know, I watch your channel, thank you. And for everyone else at home that's watching, thank you very much as well. It means a lot. We can keep this deal rolling and get this car on track. Alright guys, that's a bit of an update for what's happening. New engine, or sorry, another engine, another gearbox, more spare parts. We are set to get this car out on track in a couple of months, which sounds like a long time away, but it will roll around so fast it's not funny. I may even try and do another track day or a practice day before then. We'll see how we go. But in the coming days, I'll do another video. We'll drop the oil out of this and check it out, see what it's like. Like I mentioned before, got something pretty cool in terms of oil that we'll be doing. And then, yeah, just fix up those few little things and then we'll be good to go. And then we can start saving up and get this thing on track. So, until then guys, I am going to go check out this dirty old engine in the background over here. Have a good look at it, see what it's like, bring the gearbox in and put it aside ready to take on our next track and race day. And just plan how this thing's gonna roll out, because I'm super stoked how everything's worked and keen to get this thing out on track as soon as possible. So, I will see you later. Bye guys.
Josh, don't do that shit. Nah, boots broom on Miley. When I pop out like lightning, polished. Briefcase, no wallet. Just blew a bag like Scotsman. Killed that. In the AM, going real fast. UK, honey at the drill, that bondsman. Bailed out, no conflict. Might have said I love her, but I never made a promise. She wants seed, told her nothing in a blossom. Badging me for info at the ship of the